last, we're in the home stretch. Here's our next panel. It is commerce and food commerce and the smart kitchen. It is moderated once again by the best, Stacy Higginbotham. Please welcome her and this panel to the stage.
All right, couch, chair, stand. Y'all are gonna do it?
Wow. You don't think we should?
I think, oh, y'all can totally do it. All right. Hey, everybody, welcome back. All right. Do y'all feel good? All right, this is Rob Ketcher, who is the CEO of Haiku.
Hello, hello.
He makes a refrigerated magnet. I'm gonna ask everybody who is seated and wants to hear the panel to turn around and go, shh. Hey, you guys are awesome. Look at what you did. That was great. Thank y'all. Okay, this is, oh, Daniel, I don't even know your last name.
Daniel Rausch.
Daniel Rausch, who is in charge of the Dash at Amazon. Y'all may have heard of it. And this is Erie, who, I don't know your last name.
Zohar.
Zor, who is with
Fresh Hub.
Fresh Hub. I always want to say Fresh Pop. This is what happens at 3:30. It's not good. All right, it's okay, I'm better at commerce. So here we are. We have talked a lot about design. We have talked a lot about how is the kitchen smart? What we haven't talked about is how our company is gonna make money from this. And these guys have some ideas. So let's start it off. Are we gonna make money with devices, with services, all of the above? Give me your best bet. Rob, starting with you, what are you thinking?
Okay, so how do you make money in this connected home thing? So there's two approaches to making cash with devices. If you have a device component, there's Apple, which makes big fat margins on every device they sell, right? And then there's Amazon, right? Who just wants to put stores in your house and makes money when you buy stuff. More or less. More or less. Okay. I shouldn't speak for you. Go, you go.
Right. So I agree with Rob. I think the question is really what you can do for customers on an ongoing basis. That's what you want to be doing. That's where you're going to be able to build a sustainable business model. And I also agree that differentiating on hardware is unlikely to be something you can build a sustainable business model around in the near term. You can do something huge like invent the Macintosh and the mouse interface and make it best for customers. You may be able to build sustainable differentiation in hardware over time, but focus on services.
So I have some numbers.
Lay your numbers on me, man.
Thank you. I had a long flight from Israel, so I had a lot of time to prepare some numbers. So I come from the advertising industry, and we have this thing called purchase decision. So when I'm in the kitchen, and I say I'm running out of my pasta, and I think I should buy pasta, that's a purchase decision. So in America, people make $2 billion worth of purchase decisions every day in the kitchen. $2 billion, like I should buy pasta, I need to buy milk. So that's to be, if you let people act on those decisions and actually buy this stuff, that's a very big number which could be built into this ecosystem. So I think that the revenue opportunity is massive.
So are you suggesting that I have advertisements on my fridge?
God forbid. But you can actually, what's really nice about this industry, I'm now much nicer guy because it's not ads, it's offers. So you run out of this milk, and then I give you this other milk, 20% off. You're happy as a consumer. I'm making money. It's, everybody's happy.
All right, but again, where do these offers come to me? How does this present itself in my new connected kitchen without making me want to throw something across the room?
So there's different options. At least the way we've built it. So think about a refrigerator with a screen. There are a few of those. And then I ran out of my pasta, so I'd show it to my screen on the refrigerator. I would see this pasta, and then it's a shelf with other pastas. And then this other pasta, you buy two, you get one for free, and this other pasta, 20% off, so it's a shelf. Supermarket, you choose, and everybody's happy.
Stacy, I have an idea.
Okay, I was going to say, that sounds like an ad on my refrigerator.
You could put it on a button.
Tell me about this button. All right.
You could put it on a button, and then you could affix it to your fridge or put it in your pantry, out of your way, be right there waiting for you to press it. It's just an idea.
That's a crazy idea. And would you charge people $4.99 for this?
And we give them $4.99 back with their first order.
Oh, here, you guys got to share the mic better.
Right, sorry. $4.99 back with your first order. That'd be a good way to make it sort of a net-free experience for you as a customer.
All right, so when you were developing this, let's ask you about this, because this is, I look at it kind of like an ad. I look at it as a service, and I do think the best kind of commerce experiences will blend those things together. So when you were developing the Dash, how did you kind of weigh those offers with your partners, and kind of what was the reasoning there?
Well, I think, so, you know, we have two different sorts of experiences for different kinds of customers and for different kinds of partners. So for a brand like Tide or Bounty or Cottonelle, it's a branded button, and some of these products, customers care more about what brand they're buying. Mostly they don't want to have to run to the store for paper towels. So there may be some brand switching going on, and those partners are seeing the opportunity to do incremental transactions and pick up new customers. For DRS, you may like that better, Dash Replenishment Service. So that would be where you just don't think about paper towels, and your paper towel holder orders paper towels for you. Or, in the case of your washing machine, orders Tide for you, say, or any other product that you choose that Amazon assorts. So there, you may have more brand choices in the near term. We may have potential partners in the room, for all I know, that we're already integrating those services with. The button side is a little bit more limited today.
All right.
Okay, I want to go. Okay. So I think this, you know, you touched on this topic of, you know, advertising. You said like, oh, this feels like advertising in my house. And I think, you know, I think in these early stages, we have to be really, really careful to not go there, right? Like not go there, because I think that will so turn off consumers, right? Like no consumer wants like tons of advertising in their house, right? Okay, again, I'm talking about Amazon, but you know, it struck me that the button seemed to be like a very good showcase for the DRS. Just my perspective. But this idea of making replenishment easier for consumers, right? That is important. Right, that matters. That's a genuine pain point for consumers. We can solve that. We can help retailers. Right, having that direct connection in the home can be helpful without being annoying to the consumer. It can actually be helpful to the consumer and the retailer.
Well, I think we're talking about two things. We're talking about advertisement, which is advertising, yay, and we're also talking about shopping and buying, like creating a service for consumers, which is another way to get money, and that's kind of the Dash Replenishment Service, which is kind of frictionless commerce, which kind of gets into this idea of, I was originally going to ask this first, but how long till I never have to go grocery shopping again if I don't want to? Because I really loathe going grocery shopping, and basically, yeah, how long? How will we ever get there even?
I think, I mean, I'm not sure that goes, I mean, the kitchen makes it much easier not to go grocery shopping, but you cannot go grocery shopping today. I mean, you can just buy everything online.
Okay, let's take it and make it more automated or easier, because right now I have to sit with my cookbooks and I have to pull everything out, and then I have to make the list, and then I have to send it with my husband. Actually, I don't go grocery shopping today. My husband's awesome. But think about making it a little bit more seamless. So you're right.
But fully automated, that's a big question.
Okay.
Right? So then I don't have to do anything about it. Once a week, somebody's going to come to my house and say, that's what you need this week.
And
so fully automated system.
And my appliances will
do
support inventory
that.
And help support
exactly.
that.
So that's a little bit more complicated. I think probably among the three of us, we're all thinking about that. We're all taking the first steps.
Okay.
I would say it will take a while.
Okay. Is it even possible?
So okay, like Yuri mentioned, could you stop going to the store and just order everything online? Sure, right? And I'm sure we probably all know at least one person who does that. But as a category, consumer packaged goods in the U.S., 2% has moved online. Right? Like that's a long way to go, right? To get to everything, and there, I think there's just so many people that it will never, for so many people, it will never be everything, right? There's still going to be people who love going to the farmer's market, right? And love going to their local meat counter, right, to select the steaks they're going to cook up or whatever. That's my perspective.
Yeah, I agree. It'll take a long time. I think there's certain discovery elements that will take a long time to find a new gourmet salt or something online. It's going to take a long time. Not that I'm a gourmet salt shopper, but I think what's shocking is how much shopping people don't love to do that hasn't moved online. That I think is, like, it's actually not that fun to shop for laundry soap or, detergent or
dog food
or paper towels. Like, those are not actually that exciting. They're the quotidian things that our houses count on, that they demand actually, for us to move through our lives. And I know the three of us are certainly thinking about it. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking about it as well. There's a huge convenience value for customers. We've certainly seen it in my program. I know there's a lot of success here from these other guys on the couch as well in terms of customer response. But there's just a lot that we all have to offer those customers in terms of convenience.
Well, let's talk about that, because you guys all offer people ways to kind of more automate things. What are you seeing from your customers? Do they use Haiku every day? Are the dashes like flying off the? I guess there are actual shelves in the Amazon warehouses. So, in our retailers putting your technology or using your technology in appliances to actually, get food delivered?
So we're alive for like 1 year now, mostly in the New York area. And our top users, like a third of our users, are interacting with our screen about 1.5 times a day. So it's actually whenever they think about something which is running out, they just go and wave to cart, add it to the shopping cart, so throughout the day. But that's the top third. Other, the middle part would use it 3 times a week, so about once every 2 days.
So with the Dash program, we have some buttons on the highest use end, like a smart water button, for example. It's used on average every 11 days, which is pretty far beyond our own expectations internally. I think it's testament to the fact that customers are building it into their lives, into their normal routine, which is where we expect it to end up if it's working well for them. The other thing that surprised us about customer use is just that it's such a short moment you use the device, but that customers think it's fun. And we get a lot of emails about how fun it is to push the button and then see it go green. So, like, a lot of emails. A lot more emails than you would expect.
I can imagine like kids fighting over like, I want to push the button this time.
Yes, they're weighed up, and then we get emails that say, had to wait for my wife because we ran out of something, and then when she got home, we pushed the button together or something like that. So customers are excited about that level of convenience, I guess, and want to include it in their lives.
Yeah, pushing buttons is fun, right? Whereas I was talking to one of the guys about this earlier. Like, there's just something. It's like there's something powerful about I push this button, right? It's kind of like kids on an elevator, right? They'll fight over it because they push the button and they can make that elevator go to another floor and the doors close, and like it's very there's such a draw to push buttons. I don't know. I installed a Dash button in my house, and the first few days I had to, like, when I walked by it, I'd be like fighting my hand. I'd feel like some draw to it. It was kind of funny. But so we've been, you were asking about usage. We've been selling to the public now for about 2 years. We did our first commercial integration, live. You can go to this is in France, you can go to the store and you could buy Haiku, and it's integrated with grocery shopping. And one of the interesting things that we saw was, because with Haiku, you can both scan barcodes and talk to it. So 2 different modes of input, getting stuff into your list and having that list shopped. What we found is before Haiku's connected to commerce, if it's just a shopping list, there's about a 60 to 40%, 60% voice, 40% scans, right? And then when you connect it to commerce, those numbers actually invert, and people scan a lot more. And there's something. It seemed to be something psychological about, I can scan something and there's a level of precision, and there's something about related to commerce that they knew they could get that item replenished. So that was an interesting data point we saw.
Oh, so like talking to things, when you buy, you want to scan, you don't want to talk.
Yeah, there was certainly a preference or bias to scan.
You may not be able to tell, or you may not know, Daniel, but with the Alexa, because I can order things by voice, do you have any data to back that up on the Alexa front, or do people?
No data we can share today,
Okay.
but it's certainly being used a lot more than we expected when we released the feature. So we have a Friday email that goes out. I don't know if any of you are Echo owners or Alexa users, but Echo owners get an email on Fridays for new features, and it's one of the most popular to date in terms of features we roll out every Friday. Shopping and reordering in particular. Send me more blah. Alexa, send me more paper towels. Very heavily used use case.
I use it.
Yeah.
I'll just be honest.
What do you use it for?
Well, I used to use it for doggy pickup bags, but then they became an add-on order, so now I can't use it for that. I know, it's terrible.
Send us an email. I'll see what I can do.
There we go. It's okay. I can actually, I spend enough time on the actual website too, it's all right. Okay, so moving on to, you mentioned discovery, and I'm kind of interested in this idea, especially as it relates to like the replenishment service, because once you have some of these things in place, you're no longer necessarily wandering around going, oh, I've never tried this brand before. How do we bring this idea of discovery back into once we have automation, or we have like, yeah, once we have automation and everything like coming to us?
So not sure how it's going to work in the automation phase, but currently, at least in our case, since we have a screen, it's actually a very powerful discovery process, because if you run out of something and you show it to the screen, and you bought it in supermarket X and we're connected to supermarket A, then we're going to show you the alternative products. So actually, it's a perfect discovery tool for, now we bought pasta from supermarket X, now I can start buying it from supermarket A because I know that's the alternative product.
Okay.
For us, I mean, we have a relationship with our customers through a lot of different interfaces. So, for example, one thing important to me for my business is that a customer's dash order history also relates to customers who also bought or recommended products, or we have a lot of ways at Amazon that we offer customers new products that they might like to get them in front of them. So I think those kind of integrations are important, sort of like your screen, you want to show them other items that may be of interest to them. But I think on the other hand, it's also true that for many of the products that we spend our days thinking about with customers, they just want the same consistent, high-quality product that they normally get.
Yeah, don't switch my toilet paper. It could be terrible.
Right. You just want what you want.
Right.
And so that's where convenience, it turns out, is the highest leverage thing we could do for you in the customer experience. We could change the convenience level to where it's automatic. You've gotten what you wanted.
So I guess when I think about devices inside the home, I don't necessarily, maybe this is kind of what you were mentioning, Daniel, like I don't think that's your entire interaction with ordering and shopping. We think of a device, we think of Haiku as just this very simple way to get stuff remembered and purchased, right? Now that doesn't mean you're actually doing the purchasing when you scan things or say things, right? You still go to your phone or you go to a website, you'll complete the order. And I do think that, okay, there's lots of examples where we're given recommendations about things, about products, and we like it. Right? And you know, Netflix or Pandora, and granted, like I understand ordering paper towels is not as exciting as, you know, the next movie you're going to watch. But there are products where you do want to explore. Like maybe you want to find a yogurt that's sourced from local cows. I don't know. I'm making it up, right? But there's plenty of. Someone was talking about this earlier, like this idea of personalized. Right? You want to eat organic. You want to eat gluten-free. There's all kinds of examples where product recommendations can actually be very helpful, and having that data captured, sent to the cloud, and then you're interacting with it not necessarily on the device, but at the place where you're ordering, and it's a little more visual and easy to use.
All right. Do you guys have questions? Think about them. I'm looking. I don't see any yet. Oh, I do see one. All right, I'm supposed to come to you with a mic. I'm not going to give you the mic because you might talk for a long time.
Real quick. So you said you started Haiku connecting to commerce in France. Do you think, was there any reason, like is Europe, are the European merchandisers more susceptible to like connecting with a product like Haiku? Because I saw you had Peapod on your website as well.
Yeah. So we did just announce. We'll get to the Europe thing. We did just announce yesterday that Haiku is now integrated with both Walmart grocery and Peapod. So you can scan it, you can say it, and then you can purchase it at those stores. So it's 40 markets over 24 states. We're super excited about it. So why did we start? Why was France first? If someone would have asked me when we started Haiku, or someone would have said to me, like, oh yeah, your first integration with a grocery store is going to be in France, I would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, no way. But it just happens to be that online grocery as a category is a lot more advanced in Europe. All right, so consumer packaged goods spend, I mentioned 2% here in the US. Depending on what number you believe, maybe as high as 2.5%, but it's still small. And it grew at a 25% clip last year. In France, it's between 6 to 7%. Right, so growing at a 25% clip, that's like they're like minimum 3 years ahead. Right, so for whatever reason, that's the way it is. I don't have any greater insight into why that's the case, but it is further ahead.
That does actually be, are there other like countries where their commerce strategies around kind of connected devices are farther ahead of the US's, and which are there? Anyone? No? It's okay if you don't know. I can throw up more questions. All right, other questions? We got one, here we go.
You stumped the panel.
No, that's okay. And if you're in the back, I will run to you, don't worry.
So I have a quick question about automation versus augmentation. A lot of automation versus augmentation. What most of your services are about is about automation, and recommendation is the first step towards augmentation of commerce. But are there any other future offerings or extensions of what you do now that would augment commerce, not just automate it and make it push button?
I think this maybe gets back to your original question about when are we going to not have to go to the store? I view online shopping as augmenting our shopping, right? I don't think the vast majority of us, I don't think we're all going to move to completely shopping online. But kind of like Daniel was alluding to this earlier. I think there's a category of product that's very ripe for online, right? That you don't want to have to make that extra trip, and if you can buy it online, great. And I view that as augmentative.
I think it has a lot to do with the user experience. So I think as you make it easier, and I think that's exactly what all of us are doing, each one in his own way, it's just going to become more and more digitized, more and more online. So, it's just a matter of how easy it is.
I'm going to throw something out there because I would love to see it. I would love to actually be like, hey, I have 3 tomatoes and an avocado. What can I make? And that would be very augmented to me. And you guys just to automatically to my list say, here's the rest of the ingredients to make this list. And I would be like, sold, buy it. All right, other questions? Anyone? No? Yes? All right, here I come. Woohoo!
So you've talked about how France is so much farther ahead than the US, and things like the dash button, which are just insanely convenient. So why are the reasons that consumers are not picking these things up? What are the barriers we got to break down so that these products are far more used?
Well, I know in my business's case, we're super focused on selection right now. So we brought the Dash Button program out of invitation at the beginning of September and sort of launched this net-free experience, buy it for $4.99, get $4.99 off your first purchase. We added brands, up to 30 brands now are in the program, and many more are clamoring to get in based on the response so far. So for me, I think it's really a matter of selection. Price for my program, you get the same great prices you get on Amazon every day. Amazon's a price leader, that's sort of taken care of. Selection, is what we're working on. Convenience, that was the whole point of the program, and those are sort of the three pillars of the Amazon shopping experience. So for me, it's just ungating selection. Within the selection we have, customers are, no data to share as ever with Amazon, but it's been wildly successful with customers, so I think it's pretty much selection gated.
I think it's just making this a habit. I think that at least we see this in our case, I'm sure it's the same with other technologies. It becomes so convenient, people just keep getting to the habit of using it, and that increases the numbers, per family, and then throughout all US.
Just real quick, yes, it's behind, but that doesn't mean it's not happening, right? And growing at a 25% clip for the consumer packaged goods industry, you're talking about an industry that measures growth in tenths of a percent, right? In the UK last year, all of consumer packaged goods spend actually went down, right? Grocery spend declined. Right? So I actually think it is happening. It just is, when you're starting from such a small point, it just takes time.
I added one quick thing to my answer to your question, which is that I think it actually has to be easier for customers, right? That's a big barrier in sort of everything that we're all working on, is that sometimes it's not a very clear trade-off for customers what's been made easier. If the setup experience, the configuration experience, executing either an order or a recipe or completing a task, if it's not better than the product I was delivering for myself before, better cup of coffee, better what have you, if it's not easy enough, I think easy enough is something we've struggled with just as a group of people in this room. Is it easy to put on Wi-Fi? Is that 1 step if possible, 0 steps if possible? Is it 7 steps? Every step is friction, right? So I think as a group in this room, I think that's probably one of the biggest barriers that we have in front of us, is making it super easy, not for the initiated customer, but for whoever walks by the door next. I don't think we spend enough time, honestly, as a group, thinking about that.
I want to switch just a little bit. Who's going to pay for the added costs in the system for convenience? So there's the cost of the dash button, for example, or me buying a Haiku. Right now the Haiku is $50, or maybe it's integrating a tablet into something. There's a lot of different players and beneficiaries. There's the consumer, there's the grocery store, there's the appliance manufacturer, there's the service provider, there's a lot of different players. How are those costs going to get allocated throughout the system? I mean, how are we going to kind of reset that? Or is it just the consumer pays extra and maybe the retailer pays a little bit, and I don't know.
I think it goes back to the numbers that I started from, cool. Right? So I did this quick math. So, for example, an appliance company that has a 15% penetration in US, so $100 billion of purchase decisions are made 10 feet from their appliance every year. $100 billion of purchase decisions. So if they're able to participate in that, enable people to act on those purchase decisions and basically have them done via their appliances, that's a lot of money. And so this additional $20 to the BOM could easily be covered by the fact that they become this massive go-to for those purchase decisions.
Yeah. So in terms of who's going to pay for it, a couple of things. So number one, we are seeing retailers subsidize Haiku. In our launch with Groupe Auchan in France, the product was selling as low as they were subsidizing as far down as 15 euro. So that's an impulse buy. I actually, in my conversations with retailers, a lot of times I actually encourage them to not subsidize it too far, because I believe that there is value to the consumer, right? There is value to the consumer of I'm going to make your life easier, right? And but to some extent, it kind of doesn't matter. Eventually, we're headed in this direction because it's an easier way for consumers to shop, right? And if it's an easier way for consumers to shop, we'll figure out whether the consumer pays some extra or it's getting subsidized by the retailer or the brand's kicking in some money. right? Like if at the end of the day it's easier for the consumer, it's kind of inevitable.
All right. Oh, did you have insights?
Something to add, I guess, for me, at the end of the day, it won't be the customer. Because I think net, the cost structure overall goes down in a world where you can be more predictive, understand customers better, fulfill their orders as, before they know they need them, right? The vision for Dash replenishment is the only time I know I'm out of something is when there's a box with a smile on my doorstep. That's when I actually find out. So the cost structure of that end-to-end supply chain is at least theoretically lower over time. In the short term, there's plenty of incentive for any member in the value chain, whether it's a CPG company or vendor or a retailer or whatnot, to try to direct the flow of transactions. I think that will come out in the wash, but at the end of the day, the winners in the segment are going to be folks that for sure aren't increasing prices for customers, if anything, passing on savings sooner.
All right. Well, guys, big round of applause for these folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And no questions about drones.